Control fractures under conflict. A decision is made. Probable cause, the process. In theaters now.
The man who raided a former president's home just walked into Congress and they locked the doors behind him. Jack Smith, the special counsel who launched armed federal raids into Mar-a-Lago, sought gag orders and prison time, who spent over $50 million taxpayer dollars trying to put Trump behind bars, is now sitting for closed-door testimony. No cameras, no public record. The American people footed the bill, but they're not allowed to watch. And why is that? Well, it's because we don't want it to be a theater, and that's what Jim Jordan knows. But when will that testimony see the light of day? You see, the stakes here go beyond one prosecutor. This is about whether the Justice Department can be weaponized against political opponents without consequence. Jack Smith's operation cost taxpayers more than $50 million. 65% of that went to salaries. His team raided a former president's home with armed agents. They sought to imprison him during an election. They pursued gag orders to silence him. And now we're learning that there may have been serious problems with probable cause from the very beginning. As we've been following, sources say internal FBI officials raised objections before the raid, warnings that were ignored. The smoking gun document has been dropped, and if Smith's team lied to the court, if they move forward without legal justification, this was not law enforcement. It was a political hit job funded by the taxpayer. And the fact that this testimony is happening behind closed doors tells you everything. Why? Because they're not going to let him grandstand in that moment. We do have some breaking news, though, on the weight loss front. While Jack Smith spent $50 million of your dollars chasing political enemies, Americans have been spending thousands on weight loss injections that don't even work long term. A major new analysis found people who stopped taking Ozempic gained back nearly all their weight within a year. It's expensive, temporary, and riddled with side effects. That's why I am excited to tell you about BioTrust GLP-1 Elevate at trimwithgary.com. It helps your body naturally trigger hunger-controlling signals. No needles, no prescriptions, no scary side effects. Promotes fullness, reduces cravings, supports fat loss over muscle loss. Right now, get 40% off at trimwithgary.com plus a 60-day satisfaction guarantee and free shipping. That's trimwithgary.com. Smarter weight loss while Washington wastes your money. So here's what makes this even worse. Before Jack Smith walked into that room, his lawyers rushed to the microphones, insisting the investigation follow the facts and the law. But lawmakers aren't buying it. They want to know why internal warnings were overruled. They want to know how evidence was handled. They want to know whether Smith's team misrepresented facts to obtain warrants. And here's the kicker. The prosecutor who accused Trump of mishandling documents is now being scrutinized for his own team handling documents and evidence. The man who demanded transparency from everyone else is now hiding behind closed doors, and the irony is absolutely brutal. Now, before we dive deeper into this story about Jack Smith, there's been talk about Dan Bongino and President Trump on the tarmac at Joint Base Andrews with remarks on Dan's fate at the FBI.
Oh, Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show. Yeah, I
Do you hear that? Do you hear that? He did a great job. Past tense. Something's brewing. I think he wants to go back to his show. Well, he definitely took a lot of heat when he left his show, and certain things transpired, certain investigations didn't get answered, certain things he said on his show that he said if he was ever in power, he would execute. People called him out for it. Could have done some brand damage. I don't know. I think Dan Bongino will be just fine. And if he does leave the FBI, then you know what? Thank you for your service, sir. And we look forward to seeing you back at your podcast. But let's continue here because we've got to talk about what happened with Jack Smith and the Mar-a-Lago raid, which we now know was a complete fabrication according to the leaked documents. Biden's DOJ had no probable cause to raid Mar-a-Lago.
We want answers today.
So today, former special counsel Jack Smith is set to appear behind closed doors for a House Judiciary interview on his two probes into President Trump. One, of course, on classified documents, the other on the 2020 election. You're going to be a part of this interview. And when it comes to classified documents, Fox News just learned that the FBI did not believe it had probable cause to raid President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home in 2022, but moved forward amid pressure from the Biden Justice Department, with an official saying he didn't, quote, give a damn about the optics of the search. How important is this new information to your line of questioning?
I think it's very damning. I think that what Jack Smith did was unprecedented, going into the home of a former president, refusing to let the president speak up. Remember, they had a gag order. They limited what President Trump could say. They tried to destroy this president. And thank God the American people saw through this last November and elected him. Otherwise, this would still be going. They would have locked President Trump up. He'd likely be in prison if Jack Smith had his way and the American people didn't vote to elect President Trump. And so what we want to have today is a discussion with Jack Smith. We want him to answer the questions about the origins, his contact with the prior administration. This was weaponized justice, and we want answers today in this deposition.
Understood. Well, it will be behind closed doors, no doubt fiery, and you will be a part of it. Congressman Gooden, we thank you.
Absolutely. Let's keep going here. This guy says this gets it exactly wrong. It would have been great to have Jack Smith publicly lay out in detail the full case against Trump, and Smith said he'd be happy to do it, but Jim Jordan did not want that to happen, so he decided to have Smith testify behind closed doors. James Surowicki, it would have been great to have Jack Smith publicly lay it out. No, that's exactly why it was behind closed doors, because we've heard that story. Jack Smith had his time to lay out the case, and his case failed. And now he has to answer for it. You see? So we're going to put it behind closed doors for that very reason. No grandstanding at all. Former Justice Department Special Counsel Jack Smith appearing behind for the closed-door interview. This appears to be his arrival.
Alleged attempt. Jack Smith looks forward today into answering the committee's questions.
So I believe this would be his lawyer.
Jack Smith looks forward today into answering the committee's questions into his investigation into President Trump's alleged attempt to unlawfully overturn the 2020 presidential election and his possession and secured the classified documents at his social club in Palm Beach. In today testifying before this committee, Jack is showing tremendous courage in light of the remarkable and unprecedented retribution campaign against him by this administration and this White House. Let's be clear. Jack Smith, a career prosecutor, conducted this investigation based on the facts and based on the law and nothing more. Jack Smith looks forward today into answering.
Oh, man. I mean, first we got Fannie Willis freaking out. Now we got Jack Smith's lawyer. Oh, my goodness. And Jack Smith doing the walk of shame through the halls of the building there in Congress for the committee. These things. Okay, guys, listen. Justice moves slow. It moves slow. I know we all want the perp walks, but we got to you got to lay the tracks before you could ride the rail. All right. So let's just keep riding. Let's keep laying the tracks, man, because a MAGA train is coming. Julie Kelly on the Jack Smith testifying. Let's see here. Bannon's War Room. I've pushed hard for public testimony. Public. Again, why are these people arguing for public testimony? I just don't understand. She's on the phone with Steve Bannon. Let's listen.
Of the president. So if this is Jack Smith, a former special counsel, is testifying before House Judiciary Committee behind closed doors. I have pushed for public testimony by Jack Smith because I think the American people, after being forced to spend at least $50 million on that criminal pursuit of the president in 2 different cases are entitled to see this scumbag front and center. But the good news is that it appears Senator Johnson has said that this is sort of the precursor for the continued investigation and also public hearing with Jack Smith scheduled hopefully for early next year. So if this is
yeah. See, she's like, I want to see him dragged in front of the cameras. But how come people don't grasp the fact that if he goes in front of the cameras, he's going to grandstand? It's going to make all the headlines. And then CNN's just going to run with it. Instead, you got the lawyer standing out front making excuses. Julie Kelly, God bless you. We all want justice here. We all have different paths to get there. And again, you just heard her say there's going to be a public testimony. This is the beginning. There'll be more. There'll be more opportunities for him to grandstand. Don't you worry, Jack. Because we got some remarks from Senator Kennedy on Fox. Looks like prior to the hearing.
What I would like to hear from Mr. Smith is the truth. I suspect it's highly unlikely he's interested in an outcome punishing someone he doesn't like. And I think he's going to be held accountable.
So we will see shortly how much they get out of this one. Search for answers on the Hill. A short time from now, former special counsel Jack Smith set to go behind closed doors and
closed door testimony. Oh, I can't wait to see the transcript. That's going to come out. We got here's Jim Jordan on Fox and Friends early this morning. Of course, he's the one who subpoenaed Jack Smith to appear for his closed door testimony.
They had to go in. I mean, we had interviewed Mr. D'Antuono, the head of the Washington field office, way back when, and he told us he was against what they did when they raided President Trump's home. And he said if they were going to actually do it, they should have called President Trump's lawyers. His lawyers should have met him there. They should have done it together. But no, they couldn't do it that way. They had to go in like they did without consulting with President Trump. Was working with them. So I think it just underscores how political this whole thing was. Not to mention the other things that happened with Jack Smith's investigation. Remember, they put a gag order on the president of the United States. This is something we'll ask him about today. They put a gag order on the former president, then candidate and that was shot down mostly by the appeals court when he got that order. Jack Smith mishandled the documents that he got in the raid. So he mishandled the very documents he accused President Trump of mishandling. They had to file that with the court. And of course, we know that one of his deputies was engaged in what I think you could probably call a bribe when he said to a defendant's counsel, "We didn't know you were a Trump guy. We thought you were interested in this judge position." You can't do those kind of things, but all those things Jack Smith and his team engaged in as part of Arctic Frost investigation, which then was merged with the special counsel's investigation. I mean, we had interviewed Mr. D'Antuono, the head.
Yeah. So there you have Jim Jordan. We also have David Bossie says he'd press on probable cause and points to internal FBI objections, adding the documents show there are good people that call out bad people at the FBI.
Steve, that are coming out because, and thankfully to Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and other leadership at the DOJ, putting out these documents in the last couple of days, we are now seeing that the FBI leadership in the Washington field office said this ought not be done, this raid of Mar-a-Lago. We don't have a probable cause. It needs to be done another way, meaning negotiations with the lawyers. Let's do this quietly. There's no rush here. And Jack Smith and Merrick Garland, let's make sure we understand, Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, which means that the President of the United States signed off on this. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris participated in this political witch hunt of Donald Trump. And we all have known it. And now we're seeing it. So Jack Smith needs to be brought to pay for what
Bossie, you bring up, don't bury the lead here, bro. The Washington field office were not a set of fans. They're not MAGA. They're not a set of fans of Donald Trump, right? And they came here and said, guys, hang on. You have no probable cause here. Let's do this the traditional way, lawyers to lawyers, and take this down. The Washington field office hated Trump. And even haters said, we're going to break the law here. Am I incorrect on that?
No, you're exactly right. And I think by Kash putting these documents out, really educate the American people on a couple of things. One is the sheer corruption that was going on inside the Department of Justice and White House. And two, there are good people that will call out bad people inside the FBI. What Kash has said since he's been there, since day one, is we need to get rid of, rip out by the roots, the horrendous leadership, the woke mob, the left-wing leadership inside the FBI, and let the men and women who work the streets, who work these cases, do their jobs, because they are great Americans. And I tend to agree with that theory. The bad people have to go. Steve, you and I both know it. But this says that a guy in the Washington field office had the courage to stand up to Merrick Garland and the president of the United States, because he knew, or she knew, whoever it was, we don't know, had the courage to stand up to the political establishment.
And we need people like that inside who are willing to come forward and blow the whistle, hold these people accountable. This looks like another angle of the same video we saw moments before Jack Smith started his closed-door meeting with congressional reps, his legal representation. Let's be clear, Jack Smith is a career prosecutor, conduct his investigation based on the facts and the law. Yeah, sure. Biden's DOJ had no probable cause at all. Yeah.
By documents, the other on the... So today, former special counsel Jack Smith is set to...
Let me just see. I think, did we play that clip already? Yeah, we did. Sorry, my bad. So here we go. You want your blood to boil? C3 writes, the Jack Smith investigation cost taxpayers $54 million. All based on a scam, targeting enemies, with 65% of that $54 million paying their own salaries. Jack and his team got rich for sedition. Lock him up.
Mr. Smith, do you have any regrets about the way your prosecutions of the president were handled? What do you plan to tell the committee today, sir? Mr. Smith, do you prefer a public setting for this hearing?
How about you respond, Jack?
Mr. Smith, you said you wanted a public hearing. What do you want the public to know, sir?
There he is, doing the walk of shame. $50 million, arm raids on a former president, gag orders, prison threats, and now testimony behind closed doors where he is not allowed to grandstand. You see, Jack Smith operated like he was untouchable. He acted like there would never be a reckoning. Well, today, he's sitting in front of Congress with lawyers at his side, answering questions he thought he'd never face. The hunter has become the hunted. And the era of weaponized prosecutions without accountability is finally coming to an end. Now, the story matters because Jack Smith wasn't just a prosecutor. He was the tip of the spear in a coordinated effort to destroy Donald Trump through the legal system. $50 million of your money funded armed raids, aggressive prosecution, an operation designed to remove a political opponent from the battlefield. And when it failed, Smith walked away, no consequences, no explanation, until now. The fact that his testimony is happening behind closed doors should tell you everything you need to know. Jim Jordan knows exactly what would happen if they opened those doors. It'd turn into a circus. But we will find out. We will get the testimony. We will get the answers. Did Smith have probable cause? Did his team lie to the court? Did they plant or mishandle evidence? You see, these aren't partisan questions. They're just constitutional ones. So here's what I want to know from you. Should Jack Smith face criminal prosecution for his conduct? Yes or no? Sound off in the comments. And don't forget to check out the Next News merch shop. It is linked down below.